Hello, dear student. This is Professor Ashok Thumar, and you are watching me on our online YouTube learning video lecture series. And this time we will discuss one of the very much important chapter, that is couplings, clutches, and brakes. Dear student, in my previous video lecture, I have discussed about same chapter, but it was the part one, and specially in which we have discussed about couplings only. So right now it's time to discuss on an introduction of clutch, its the functions, types of clutches, and much more. Basically, clutch is a mechanical device which assemble or even disassemble uh, driving and driven shaft for the purpose of power as well as motion and torque transmission. So herein, if you are finding any device which connects to machine elements like shafts, only shafts here, for the purpose of power, or we can say that the motion transmission, that will be known as clutch. Basically, there are a little bit difference between clutch and what we say couplings. If you are looking the definition of couplings and clutch, there are very much similarity, but basically there is a one common difference in between them. In case of couplings, it assemble, or we can say that engage or even disassemble the rotating members like shaft with the other member like pulley or gear. But in case of clutch, it just engage or disengage to only transmission shafts, not transmission shaft with any rotating member like pulley or gear, or we can say that sprocket. So this is what about clutch, and this term clutch we have seen and listened numbers of time, because every automotive vehicle requires clutch, because we know that for not only the automotive vehicles, but there are numbers of machineries which frequently require to transmit and cut out of that power between two driving and driven shafts. So at that places, there should be a requirement of such a device like clutch, which frequently engage and disengage that particular shaft, and ultimately machine receives power for some times and disconnected. So that means it not receive any kind of power from one driving shaft to driven shaft. Second difference between clutch and coupling is that if suppose you want to frequently engage and disengage two shaft or two even connected member, and you are using coupling, then it's very difficult. You have to remove the key between that shaft and couplings or rotating members, and you have to remove sleeve, or you have to remove other protected devices and much more. So it basically takes longer time for the connection and disconnection. But in our regular machinery like bike or some punching machines, where frequently, that means in terms of seconds, in a particular time, it machinery requires power in particular seconds, it do not require power. So at that time coupling not plays the enough role there, and for that we have to think about other option, and that the option is fulfilled by the clutch. Secondly, look at the screen, the function of clutch. Definitely it transmit torque from engine to drivetrain. Ultimately it the work or its function is to transmit torque and power. Also, smoothly driver power from driven to driven. Ultimately, suppose you require to have the power transmission between engine crankshaft to gearbox, or we can say that gearbox to propeller, or propeller to differential. So at that time, you at least required the such a power transmission should be smooth and noiseless. So by using clutch, you can have the smooth and noiseless operation. Generally, it also protect driving parts or drivetrain when given inappropriate use. That's clear mean that suppose your bike you are riding your bike and you are not operating clutch. What should it use? So it means your clutch may get damaged, or your transmission or chain drive, or we can say that the engine drive or engine component will get damaged. So ultimately on that particular time, clutch will prevent all such engine components or engine parts, and uh, in that way clutch serve as a protecting device too. Now if we are looking about an application of that clutch, then we, of course we all know that clutch are majority used in case of the engine drives like automobile, like four-wheel car, and lots of. Also in industry, clutch find its application especially for the conveyor and metal stamping. That means if you are visiting any thermal or any kind of power plant, then it may possible that the conveyor belt is there, and which conveys something raw material from one place to other place. So over there clutch plays vital role. And metal stamping, that means press and punching works where frequently punching and unpunching operations are required in terms of seconds. So at that time you will find the application of clutch. Then after, it's also used in packing machinery too, and final application is in printing and assembly machines. uh, then after we are going to discuss one more important characteristic or topic, and that is essential requirement of good clutch. Dear friend, suppose you require to have the purchase of a good clutch, and then you might have think lots of about the clutch. The clutch should be like that, clutch should have like that, clutch should work in such a manner. So basically requirement of good clutch indicates the good property of clutch. And look at the screen. First and very much important requirement or property of clutch is that any kind of clutch that you are purchasing should transmit maximum torque from driver to driven side. That means there should be not any kind of losses from the driving to driven shaft while transmitting torque or power. Generally we know that engines use clutch for the power transmission, and in case of engines there are variation of motion and torque requirement every time. So there will be a chance to have the more jerk and vibration. So whatever you are using clutch should absorb sufficient amount of that vibration and jerk. So this is the second categories, or we can say that the second characteristics of good clutch. Generally if especially we are thinking about the high capacited engine like truck, four wheeler, in such a cases due to high load carrying capacity, engine produce so much heat. So your clutch should be like that. Whatever the heat produce due to by virtue of friction between driving and driven side plates, whatever the heat produced should be easily dissipated to the surroundings, so that the material of clutch and generally frictional resistance material especially don't get any kind of damage. Fourth characteristic, and that is it is dynamically balanced. That means if you are using clutch and especially motor speed bike, then it should be dynamically balanced, otherwise is caused to have the vibration and jerk. As what we discuss, it should damp the vibration and unnecessary noise. Clutch should have characteristic like that. Now we are going to discuss on materials through which the clutch is produced. Basic material, you can see that steel is there, asbestos, compounding organic resin, and ceramic. These are the few important material from which clutch are manufactured. Especially in case of asbestos, generally asbestos material are used for the preparing of a frictional resistance material, which is use in case of any kind of clutch. Then let's have the classification or the types of clutches that currently being used. Look at the screen. First one is the positive contact clutch and second one is frictional clutch. Dear student, we have already discussed in previous my video lecture also in case of specially chapter power transmission. There are basically two ways in which you can have the power transmission. One is the positive contact between two rotating members, or we can say that the positive contact between driver and driven members. And secondly, there will be a frictional contact or frictional surfaces are in touch with driving and driven shaft, and in that way you will have the power transmission. So according to this the two method or way of the power transmission, here in clutches are classified in two ways. Look at number A, and that is the positive contact clutch, and second one is frictional clutches. Especially in positive contact clutch there are two categories, jaw clutch as well as toothed clutch, and in case of frictional clutch there is a disc clutch, cone clutch and centrifugal clutch. So let's discuss in detail of all of that the classified types of clutches. In case of positive contact clutch, first clutch and very much important clutch, that is jaw clutch. Basically name gives the constructional detail of this type of clutch. Look at the top screen. In that particular diagram you have given figure A and figure B. Figure A indicates the engaged position and figure B is disengaged position. Here in engaged position, that means driving members and parts, or the whatever the parts and the elements which are mounted on a driving shaft are currently being in contact or engaged position with the same parts which are mounted on driving shaft. So we can say that engaged position particularly have the mean to power transmission, whereas disengaged position there is nothing to contact between driving side and driven side. Now if we are talking about the constructional detail of jaw clutch, then look at the left hand side of figure A. There is a driving shaft and there is a one fixed jaw with projection. That means herein you are finding the projection. So herein driving shaft and fixed jaw have the some projection which both of are mounted or get connected with a common machine element, that is key. So in that way driving side the parts are connected. Similarly on the right hand side look at the driven shaft, and this driven shaft is get connected with one more jaw is given, and in that way by the using of centrally key, driven shaft, driven jaw and key all are get connected. One more thing that should be discussed here is that on the driven shaft there is a one slot, particularly this slot is provided on jaw, driven side jaw. On that slot there is an operating lever, and here in that particular through operating lever one may push force or pull force. So this is the operating mechanism through which you can apply force either in forward or backward direction on particular jaw which is mounted on driven shaft. One more thing that should be discussed here is that if you are looking figure number B, disengaged position, then in both of the jaw, in left hand side or the jaw which is mounted on driving shaft, there is a one projection. On similarly right hand side, the driven jaw which is mounted on driven shaft, there is a projection, slot or recess. So driving jaw's projection is exactly match, or we can say that fit inside the recess of a driven jaw, or in that way the assembly being possible. So here in suppose driving shaft rotating with some RPM, it will transmit its power to key, and subsequently key will transmit its power or torque to driving side jaw. From the driving side jaw, as we know that now projection of driving jaw and recesses of driven jaw are commonly connected. So ultimately we can say that from the driving jaw to driven jaw, power is transmitted, and from that it will be directly transmitted power to the driven shaft. So this is what and how the power or torque is being transmitted. Now suppose if you are pressing force or foot force over operating lever like here, so it causes driven members or driven jaw or driven assembly to move in left hand side. So ultimately what happens, there is a separation between driving and driven members, or we can say that if you are transmitting in this position power from driving shaft, it will transmit only up to driving side, it will not transmit the power to driven side. Why? Because there is nothing to any kind of connection between driving shaft and driven shaft. So this is what the assembly and disassembly and constructional detail of jaw clutch. Look at the figure, bottom figure. This is the actual jaw clutch, generally being used in various purposes for the power and motion transmission. Especially jaw clutch generally used in heavy loaded agricultural machinery like tractor or some other agricultural machinery. This is what the application of the jaw clutch. Now if we are talking about advantage, then first advantage is that it have the less and compact size. Look at the diagram, it easy to manufacture. Third advantage, we can say that it give the positive mean of power and torque transmission. That means there is 100% power is being transmitted from driving to driven side. This is the best advantage if you are using jaw clutch. Now if we are talking about disadvantage of jaw clutch, then it causes very much noise, or we can say that during power transmission it strike with each other, and it cause to have the noise problem or noise produced during power transmission. So this is what an disadvantage of jaw clutch. Secondly, if we are talking about one more type of the clutch, and that is friction clutch, because in earlier we have already classified clutch in two category. One is positive clutch and other is friction clutch. In case of positive clutch, we have seen that there is a direct contact between driving and driven members, and in that way power is being transmitted from driving side to driven side. But if you are using the frictional concept, then one may also have the power transmission from one part to other part, and this concept if you are using in any clutch, it will be known as a friction clutch. Now first type and very much important type of frictional clutch is disc clutch. We will discuss about first constructional detail and then the working principle. So now look at the screen. There is a left hand side driving shaft, and from this we require to have the power transmission from driving shaft to ultimately or a driven shaft. So from the left hand side assemblies look like that. Driving shaft is directly connected with flywheel. There is a one flange, we can say that provided, and flywheel and shaft, or we can say the driving shaft is connected in such a way that there is a one crankshaft. Look at the diagram over here. So ultimately we can say that first driving shaft and this crankshaft is being connected, and there are some kind of nut and bolt arrangement. So we can say that crankshaft is connected with flywheel through this nut and bolt assembly. So in that way we can say that the driving shaft is connected with flywheel via crankshaft. Now over right hand side, if you are looking carefully, then there is one shaft, driven shaft, and majority of its surface or outer or peripheral surface there is a horizontal spline. Now connection between driving shaft, or we can say that the assembly of that particular driven shaft to other parts is look like that. uh, there is a look at the top of the diagram. This is the body, and it covers some parts like a spring, like a pressure plate, and like clutch plate. So we can say that body includes basically three parts: spring, pressure plate, and clutch plate. Now once again this clutch plate is being connected with hub of the shaft through one common connection. Look at, either there is a pivoting or either there will be a bolting. So ultimately in that way we can say that clutch plate is connected with hub. And look at that hub, or we can say that the driven shaft, there is a spline, and that particular spline are mounted inside the groove of that particular hub. So we can say that hub can move in either direction on surface of this driven shaft. Whereas look at the lever is attached over here, rightmost side, and there is a provision at the end of the lever to impart a pressure or foot force, we can say that, in order to operate this clutch. Now ultimately the main heart, or we can say that the main assembly of this clutch finds over here. Ultimately power can be transmitted from driving shaft to driven shaft if these two parts are being connected. That means if you are using this clutch and required to transmit power from driving to driven shaft, these two, pressure plate and clutch plate, should be engaged first. And for that, for engagement of this both of the clutch, we require to produce force, and which goes to connect both of the elements. So in presently if you are looking carefully, clutch plates with friction lining, that means on the both of the side of clutch, over here and over here, there is a thick layer of frictional lining material like asbestos or other, which have the higher frictional resistance characteristics, because we know that the power can be transmitted in friction clutch by virtue of frictional resistance. So ultimately whatever the contacting surfaces are in case of a disc clutch should have the higher frictional resistance characteristics, and asbestos, ferrados like material have high resistance characteristics. So this why both of the side of the clutch plate there are the thick layer of such type of frictional resistance material. Now suppose you require to transmit power from driving shaft to driven shaft, in normal condition the spring provided over here will push the force and to pressure plate, and pressure plate will directly contact with clutch plate. So over here driving shaft will transmit its power to crankshaft, and crankshaft will transmit its power to flywheel. By carefully looking over here, flywheel is directly connected with body. So ultimately if flywheel is rotating, of course body will get rotate, and simultaneously or meanwhile we can say that if body is rotating, of course this pressure plate will also get rotated. But due to this force applied by the spring, this pressure and clutch plate are already being connected. So we can say that if pressure plate is rotating, of course there will be a rotation of frictional clutch plate also, and if clutch plate is rotated, of course hub is also rotated. So we can say that the power is being transmitted to hub, and from hub is already mounted over here on spline of driven shaft. So we can say that the driven shaft is also rotated. So this is what about the power transmission from driving shaft to crankshaft, crankshaft to flywheel, flywheel to body, body to pressure plate to clutch plate, and clutch plate to hub, and finally hub to driven shaft. This is how the power is being transmitted during engaged position of this disc clutch. Now suppose you are pushing a force P at the lever end, then what happens? Left hand side, this driven shaft will move towards the right hand side, which cause this pressure plate to move in left hand side along with clutch plates. So there will be a disengagement between these two plates, pressure plate and clutch plate. So we can say that there will be a disconnection between driving parts and driven parts. So here power will not transmit from driving shaft to driven shaft. So this is what an disengagement position if you are applying P force at the end of lever. Now if we are discussing about its application, then this type of disc clutch generally used in heavy vehicle like automobile, truck, even in bus, passenger bus, we are using this type of disc clutch. One more thing that should be discussed in especially for the disc clutch is that it provides large space, and that's why that is the one more reason why we are using this disc clutch especially in heavy loaded vehicle like truck and bus, because in such a cases there is a large space which accommodate this disc clutch, and secondly in case of such a vehicles high heat will be produced, and this is necessary to dissipate that particular heat to the surrounding. Because of large space, this clutch can easily dissipate whatever the heat being produced due to connection over here, connection between rotating parts, it will be easily transferred to the surrounding. So this is the specific application of the disc clutch. Now one more and similar kind of clutch that we are going to discuss here, that is cone clutch. Basically look at the diagram, it looks very similar as that of the plate clutch, except one difference or small difference is there. In case of the disc clutch, we have one plate that was we can say that the pressure plate, and other plate was clutch plate, and both are engaged in vertical plane. So this was what happening in case of plate clutch. But if you are looking cone clutch very carefully, then you might see that connection being done between driving member as well as driven member in somewhat inclined common contact surfaces. There is nothing in vertical plane to be connected, but over here there is an inclined plane in which through which both of the parts, driving parts and driven shaft, are being connected. There is a one common reason why there is an inclination given for the connection of the driving and driven shaft. It produces high normal force between both of the contacting surfaces. Due to inclination, it provides high pressure, or we can say that the pressure of joining of two members, driving and driven members. So that's why inclination is given. It goes to have the high grip due to this normal pressure. Due to high grip, the connection is very rigid. There is very less chance of slippage between a driven member and driving member. So we can say that there is a efficient power and torque transmission with very less amount of loss if you are using cone clutch. Other details like constructional detail is very similar as that of the plate clutch. Look at that left hand side driving shaft which is connected with, there is a cone generally known as female cone, and female cone and this driving shaft are connected with a key, special key, that is sunk key. Whereas in case of right hand side, driven shaft is connected with one more cone, that is male cone. And one more thing about the driven side is that there is a collar, specially collar is provided, and spring are also provided on outer periphery of driven shaft. In that way the assembly is being done. Now suppose you require to transmit power, then this spring, especially helical spring, push the force to male cone and which directly engage in that particular areas. So if driving shaft is rotated, female cone will rotate, which cause to rotate male cone and ultimately driving shaft. Now suppose you don't require to have the power transmission at that time. By using over here, actually over here there is a lever which is not shown in current diagram, but there is a lever. And similarly, which we have seen in case of plate clutch, if you are pushing force P at the end of lever, then what happen, this male cone will become disengaged with the female cone, and ultimately power is not transmitted from driving shaft to driven shaft. Look at the bottom side 3D diagram and color, very much important and good diagram of cone clutch. Yeah, from that you can have the easily idea about the constructional detail of this type of cone clutch. Look at there is a male cone, there is a female cone, there is a driving shaft, there is a driven shaft, there is a lever, there is a spring. So you can easily compare this diagram, actual diagram, with this theoretical diagram. One more thing that should be discussed here in cone clutch find its application especially and four wheels, because it have the very much less space as compared to simple disc clutch, and it is very efficient to use. Third category of the frictional clutch is centrifugal clutch. Basically its name gives the working and idea behind which this type of clutch is working. Look at the top side of the diagram, there is one driving shaft and one driven shaft. Both of the shaft, driving and driven shaft, are connected through a one common body enclosure. Look at the central portion. From the diagram one can easily say that this is the driving shaft. Over here also this driving shaft have the four spring at the outer periphery, or we can say that the at outer peripheral surfaces. Four spring, or we can say that the one end of each and every spring is connected with shaft and other end is with shoe. Whereas the driven side, it contains only outer surface of this body. So ultimately we can say that driven shaft is have the only a housing which houses this initial arrangement of shoe, spring and driving shaft. Now how the this centrifugal clutch is work. Basically if you are rotating this driving shaft, of course this all four shoes will get rotated. If you are rotating with high speed or torque, what happen, due to some mass which contains shoe, centrifugal outward centrifugal force Fc will be produced. So ultimately up to few limits, or we can say that up to few rotation, it may possible that the shoe will not move in outward direction due to centrifugal force, but still you are rotating more, you are transmitting more power. Then due to centrifugal force equation mr omega square, particularly in that mr omega square, still you are increasing omega square, that means speed. Overall centrifugal force value will be increased, and which cause to move this shoe in outward direction. All four shoes will move in outward direction like that. Now Due to that outward movement of that all four shoes, it will directly come into contact over here or enclosure, or we can say that inner surface of body or enclosure, and this inner surface or body or cover which is directly connected with driven shaft. So we can say that if there is a contact, all four shoes are getting contact with inner surface of body or enclosure, then if this driving shaft will rotate, this all four shoes will rotate, which cause to rotate this enclosure, and ultimately driven shaft is also rotate. So in that way we can have the power transmission from driving shaft to driven shaft. But herein, as compared to previous two frictional clutches like plate clutch and cone clutch, in particular those clutches we required to exert a force or foot force to disengage or even engage. But in case of centrifugal clutch, you did not require, or you don't require any kind of external force to engage or disengage the two members of driving shaft and driven shaft. It automatically get connected once there is a certain speed. So we can say that power is being transmitted due to higher centrifugal force, or we can say that this type of clutch works on the principle of centrifugal force. Specifically, this type of clutch is used in generally small vehicles, small two-wheeler, like if you have seen that scooty, Luna, Activa, all such, there will be no any kind of operating lever to operate clutch. That clearly means that it such automotive vehicles or bikes use this type of centrifugal clutch. So dear friend, in this lecture specially we have discussed about the introduction, functions, requirements of a clutch, and at the last session of this lecture we have also discussed about some important types of mechanical clutch. Thank you very much for your kind of attendance. Stay tuned with us. If you have any query, let us know. Thank you very much.